What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
Let's get into some of this sound. One of the big signings of the offseason for your New Orleans Saints was obviously Chase Young. This is a potential double-digit sack guy. It felt a little too good to be true when it happened, and, well, you quickly find out why. Chase Young had neck surgery, so has been out during all of OTAs, minicamp. But here is Dennis Allen updating you on Chase Young's status for training camp.
Chase Young will participate in some form of practice tomorrow. Okay. We have three players, Tano, Nephi, and Juwan Johnson. Those three players will not be practicing tomorrow. Everybody else on the roster will be practicing in some form or fashion. Some may be a little bit more limited based on coming off injuries and things like that, but everybody else is going to be practicing tomorrow.
Okay, so there you go. Pretty good news. The hope is that Chase Young's going to be ready for camp already. Sounds like he will be available in some form or fashion. Chris Olave, who was also recently put on the PUP list for some non-football injury, back tightness, also expected to be a bit limited today, but practicing. So from a pure health perspective, not the worst way to enter camp. I mean, yes, Juwan Johnson not going to be available basically the whole time. We'll see what happens with Tano Passanio, but nothing major yet here at the onset of camp. Probably the biggest storyline from yesterday was Alvin Kamara. Remember, Alvin Kamara left the last day of minicamp because of a contract dispute. Yesterday, he showed up to Saints camp. He did not meet with the media, did not say anything. He did post a picture on Instagram, and it was him and Marshawn Lynch. Those of us who remember the Marshawn Lynch Super Bowl Media Day can infer that Alvin Kamara is basically saying, look, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Here's what Dennis Allen had to say on Kamara.
I expect Alvin to be out. He was out here today. He ran the conditioning test. Every indication that we've gotten is that he's going to be out here practicing tomorrow, and so that's what we expect. We're looking forward to working with him. I think, having him out here and having him practice and having him work, I think that's beneficial for all of us. I mean, obviously with a new system and new offense, I think that's important. And yet, I think we all understand there's a business aspect to the game of football, and so. But every indication that we've gotten is that he'll be out here practicing tomorrow.
Speaking of the new system, here's Dennis Allen on whether or not this new offensive scheme fits his skill set better.
Well, look, obviously he was there for the first couple of days of minicamp, and there was a few plays in there where you really saw how, this offense, this scheme can benefit him and in turn benefit us. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Jake, what do you think, man? Alvin Kamara, contract dispute, showing up to camp, kind of reading the relationship outside looking in, the scheme. What do you make of Alvin Kamara and his current relationship with the New Orleans Saints?
I think if he's at camp, that's a great sign. You don't just show up to camp if you're not ready to play. He goes to the conditioning test. That's another positive sign. Can he be disgruntled? Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, you played with guys, I played with guys that they weren't happy, but they were going to go out there and take care of business and do their job. Alvin Kamara has never shown us like somebody that's going to go out there and half-ass it. Like he is a guy that is going to go full steam ahead. Yeah, again, he might not be happy. He might want a better contract, but I also think that a guy like Alvin Kamara is like, you know what? This offense is going to be so much better for me. Now, my relationship with the Saints after this season, it might not be great, but my value is going to be great after a season with this new offense. And so, again, it might not all be sunshine and rainbows, but him being there, him doing the conditioning test, he's not holding out. He's not going to – like nobody – goes and does the conditioning test, right? If they're going to hold out, like that would be a first for me. So It sounds like he's going to be out there. Again, he might not be the happiest that he's ever been, but I think he realizes there's an opportunity for him to increase his value because the offense is going to be centered around him in a much better way than Pete Carmichael's was.
That's a very insightful point there, Jake. It's a bit of a catch-22 for Alvin, where he may want to hold out for more money, but the actual more money, the resuscitation of his career, could come through him maximizing what he can do in this system with this offense. Again, we arrive already 9 minutes into the show, into your daily Clint Kubiak, please save everything when it comes to the New Orleans Saints take. Here is, of course, though, look, for as much as we talk about AK and Derek Carr and everybody else, the biggest limiting factor on this team, we all know it. It's not hard to see. It's like really, actually, some of the most basic kind of roster breakdowns I've ever seen since covering the Saints or the NFL or just football in general. This team will go as far as the offensive line goes. It could be the poison pill that sinks everything, ends not just the Dennis Allen era, but really the whole last kind of 20 years of Saints football. Or if they perform above expectation, that could be the thing that propels you into maybe being a playoff team, even winning the NFC South. Here's what Dennis Allen had to say on his offensive line.
Obviously we've got a couple of incumbent guys in Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz, and then I think after that, there's a lot of jobs that are up for grabs. And look, here's the great thing: you go out here and you practice, and you come out and you compete day in and day out, and eventually the cream rises to the top. And so, but I don't think we're at that position right now where we can say these are the 5 that are going to go out there on day one. But I think that'll sort itself out over the course of the next month and a half.
If it's not going to be Taliesin Fuanga and I'm saying Ryan Ramczyk, not right. Trevor Penny, then then who is it going to be? Or Saldivari at left guard. That feels like you just don't commit because it's the beginning of camp. I have to imagine that's going to be that line. I still think it's a bit funny that you're switching Penning and Fuanga, but on this level. Here's to hoping that over the next couple of weeks we get more and more positive reports about that offensive line gelling together.
Yeah, if we don't like the unit that we think it's going to be, you ain't fooling us to, make us believe it's going to be this crazy battle. There's just not a lot of people that can go into that battle in Saints camp. There's just not. You're already thin at the position, so I think we all assume that it's going to be the 5 that we've kind of laid out, and I would be surprised if it's not the 5. And you're right, like you have a left tackle going to right tackle or right tackle going to left tackle. Well, it's because
Seems
the left tackle, Trevor Penning, was so bad in his first couple of seasons, and so they're going to try everything they can to get the most value out of him. They selected him, as we all know, in the first round, used a first-round pick on him. So, look, you've got talent. You've got guys that we thought at one time could be really good NFL players. And again, like you said, 9 minutes into the show, Savior, save us, please.
Yep.
We need some help.
There we go. Ryan Ramczyk, I had him on the mind because his situation was finally addressed publicly, where we all know he will not play this season. But is there hope that Ramczyk could be in a Saints uniform perhaps in the future?
I think the initial response after the surgery, we felt pretty good about that. Because I think I talked to you guys at the combine, and I was feeling pretty good about that. And then, probably a couple weeks after that, it just didn't take the turn that we were hoping that it would. And then I think from that point on, it was just like, let's give it time, let's see what happens. And, it just didn't respond in a way that he or we would want it to.
And so he would go on to say that Ryan Ramczyk's long-term future is still wide open. They don't want to, they don't want to speak in any absolutes here, and that if something were to happen and, after this year he were to get healthy again, maybe after a year off, that they would absolutely be open to him returning. But again, I just can't fathom how likely that feels when it looks outside looking in like his body has completely betrayed him here. So you've likely seen Ryan Ramczyk. And really, if you had a healthy Ryan Ramczyk, the entire outlook of this team would feel different, because then all of a sudden you have Fuanga and Penning competing for a spot. You have a stalwart multi-time All-Pro there. One book in the position group that's going to decide this team more than any other would feel infinitely stronger, but alas, you don't. So no use in crying over spoiled knees.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.